Good morning, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is Monday, January 10th, and I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio, and we are in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube. And just remember, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. You can comment live during the show on YouTube, on Facebook, and LinkedIn and Twitter as well. And of course, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling. You can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, so on today's show, we're going to be talking about, of course, the futures update. We're going to be talking about something I didn't want to get into, but I just have to, and that's the Insurrection BS. We're going to be talking about fake COVID tests. We're going to be talking about COVID pills, Peloton, rental assistance, computer chips, and, of course, today's picks. So let's talk a little bit about the futures update. The first week in the market was kind of slow. Look, it wasn't that great last week. But honestly, it was a great week for me as the travel stocks kept going up and up and up. I sold most of my positions, and I have a nice year so far. Matter of fact, I did really well so far this year. I'm probably up about 25% for the year so far. And that's only in the 7 days, right? So Friday, the Dow closed down almost 5 points. The S&P closed down about 19, and the big loser, of course, was the NASDAQ when it closed down 145 points. The NASDAQ was once again beat up by the bond market as as basically bond interest rates rose. Right now, the futures are, the Dow is down 45, the S&P is down 14, and the NASDAQ is down 100. Oh, all right. By the way, hey, did you guys have a happy Insurrection Day? Look, I'm going to tell you, I wasn't going to do it. Nope, I wasn't. I was just going to leave this one alone. I decided I wasn't going to talk about it, but then that freaking moron, garbage come out of your mouth of Harris, had to go and say this. Certain dates echo throughout history, including dates that instantly remind all who have lived through them where they were and what they were doing when our democracy came under assault, Harris said. Dates that occupy not only a place in our calendars, but a place in our collective memory. December 7th, 1941, September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021. Yes, you freaking anti-American socialists, you're right, that day did threaten our democracy. January 6th, that is. Not because of the riot at the Capitol. No, not because half of America thinks that the election was rigged. And no, not because a cop was shot or shot a person trying to break a window, but because last year on January 6th, it was the anniversary of the country's dumbest and worst president and vice president being sworn in. How dare you compare a riot? You know, a riot smaller and less deadly than the riots that you and your lame Democrats created throughout the year before, to an event that was so horrific like 9/11? You blankety blank moron. Man, I wish I could say those words right now. You have insulted everyone who was killed in Pearl Harbor and who was killed in 9/11 with your disgusting analogy. Hey, garbage, come out of your mouth, Harris. Go back to sleeping with politicians instead of being one. As for the so-called insurrection that was not nearly as damaging as all the riots you and your moronic libtards friends created, if you're going to build monuments both physically and verbally to this event, then please build monuments to all the people in the various cities like Philadelphia, Oregon, and Seattle that you caused have billions of damage and deaths. Don't be fooled by the propaganda of this event. One person died, and they died at the hands of an impatient cop. Too bad the victim wasn't a black drug addict. Then the cop would be held accountable, and not the great former President Trump. I can't wait till this administration is done. Lloyd and Harry would be smarter than the dumb and dumber that we have in the White House right now. By the way, I heard it was going to snow heavy in Washington, D.C. today. Well, actually, that was the other day, right? All of you people who have promised you would do things when hell froze over, well, your time has definitely come. So I have to tell you, clearly, you can hear in my voice that I've got something going on here, and I'm going to tell you that it's possible that I have the scary Omicron variant. So let's talk about some fake COVID tests and what that means. So I don't know if you remember, but last week I did a piece on the COVID tests being scarce and how the fans of President Poopy Pants were busy collecting toilet paper 2 years ago, and now they're collecting COVID tests. Well, it turns out there may be bogus tests being made and circulating through the internet. The CDC has put out a bulletin on these tests and is warning people not to use them or be fooled by them. They even give you a website where you can report the bogus tests. All I want to do here is make a joke about a bogus test for a bogus pandemic, and they both come up positive. By the way, I did notice that there's a new test from China. It's a fortune cookie. And if you open up the fortune cookie, it says, yes, you have COVID. Or if you open up another one, it says, no, you don't. That's probably as accurate as the freaking test that they have now. If this wasn't so sad, it would be funny. Here's something else interesting about the at-home test you should think about. If people take an at-home test and it comes up positive, and just say it's accurate and that person does have COVID, what would happen to the fear-generating numbers that people are infected with COVID? You know, the numbers that keep state of emergencies so governors can milk the federal government? You know, the numbers that help teachers' unions keep the teachers from, having to go to work? You know, the numbers that will keep the mask and vaccine mandates going forever. You know those numbers. So what happens if everyone starts to get at-home tests and the numbers aren't reported like they would be at a federal-run COVID testing site? Well, all the BS from the scamdemic might go away. To make sure this doesn't happen, though, the CDC and the government have actually set up websites and, believe it or not, an app for Android and iPhone to report your positive tests. Of course, they don't want you to report a negative test. That would be bad, right? They only want you to report the positive test. Hey, support your local politician corruption by reporting a positive test. I wonder if all the Democrats have figured out that they can hire a VA in the Philippines to put in mass amount of positive tests. You know, this should keep them in gold Cadillacs forever. Oh, man. Hey, Jane, I want to thank you for watching. Jane says none of the insurrectionists have been charged. I don't know if that's true. I have a friend who might have a little bit of a problem. And we're going to find out in the next couple of days. All right, let's go talk about COVID treatment pills. Hey, have you heard about the new COVID treatment pill? A couple of months ago, Pfizer introduced a treatment in pill form that has already been proven to be 89% effective at preventing hospitalizations in high-risk patients with COVID. Yep, this pill will not necessarily, basically this pill will help you temper your symptoms and probably keep you from becoming a rare case that will put you in the hospital. That's pretty good. The study was made more than 2,000 high-risk adults, according to the company. So the Food and Drug Administration cleared the treatment in December for patients 12 and older with mild to moderate COVID who are at the highest risk of hospitalizations or death. The twice-daily, 5-day treatment is available by prescription only. Now, this part is interesting. The treatment can help alleviate strain on healthcare systems by keeping people, particularly those who are unvaccinated, of course, out of hospitals as COVID cases continue to surge. Of course, Gestapo Joe is bragging about how he ordered 20 million packs, but now I'm confused. If this drug, and by the way, it's called Paxlovid, works so well, and it's on standby for the unvaccinated, then why do we need to be vaccinated in the first place? And for Pete's sake, why do we need a vaccine card to eat in a restaurant? Anyway, these drugs are on the way. I think I'm going to bring a fake COVID positive test strip once a week to the doctor and get a prescription for this stuff, and that way I can hoard it like toilet paper. Well, come to think of it, my doctor probably wouldn't do that for me. Hey, I want to say hello to Tommy. Tommy, thanks so much for watching online. I totally appreciate you, and I totally appreciate everybody else watching online. And we're going to take a commercial right now, and we're going to see you in a couple of minutes while I take a throat lozenge to try to finish this show.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from 2 Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Felder Michelle Cohn and Larry Steinhouse about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend investor schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. Investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse. And if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. Of course, I want to thank you for listening on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia. And if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn about how to make more money. Hit that like button and let me know you enjoy the show. And of course, you can leave comments on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube, and I'll try to respond to them live. All right. So by the way, today you should be at least 6 feet from your radio or at least 6 feet from your computer screen, because we have to social distance, because I might possibly have the scary Omicron variant. Oh. All right. So far we've been discussing the futures update, and the Dow is now down 57. All right, I got to take that out of my mouth. It's clicking. I can hear it in the headphones. All right, that was gross. All right, anyway, we've been talking about the futures update. The Dow is down 57. The S&P is down 17, and the NASDAQ is down 130. We've been talking about the insurrection, and I can't believe that Kamala Harris could say something so disgusting. Anyway, we've been talking about fake COVID tests, COVID pills, and of course, coming up, we're going to be discussing Peloton, rental assistance, and computer chips. And of course, we'll be talking about today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit the like button yet? Did you hit the share button yet? Don't forget to leave comments on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter. And of course, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home, and let me know what you think of the show. All right. Wow. See what I go through for you guys? I suffer just so I can make this show good for you. All right, let's talk a little bit about Peloton stock. All right, through my years of investing, I've seen fad companies come and go. I've seen many of them to be health-related or fitness-related companies. Peloton is a fitness company that I'm sure you have seen advertised. They have a unique stationary bike that has a screen that lets you interact with the users and a live trainer. You've probably seen these commercials. They're pretty cool. Great idea and great business model, because after you buy the bike, you have to pay a monthly subscription service to continue the interaction. So this is kind of a neat thing, right? You talk to your trainer tells you to press hard, and you can talk to the other people training as well. Pre-government overreach due to the scandemic, this company was notching slowly and the stock was hovering about 25. Well, bring in the unconstitutional lockdowns and you have opportunity. At least that's what Peloton experienced for about a year and a half, as gyms were closed and people wanted to work out. Peloton stock rose quickly and peaked at 171. They sold bike after bike after bike. It was fantastic. And it was basically because, nobody could work out, right? They couldn't go to gyms. They bought a and by the way, they also bought a competitor in the fitness arena named Precor. So if you guys know who Precor was a very huge company that was in the workout space. And they probably paid too much for it, but they bought it as well. And anyway, here comes normalcy, or at least normal enough for gyms to reopen and no longer require masks. And basically the sales of Peloton equipment fell rapidly. The stock is now at about 35, and I got to tell you, I can only see it going down from here. I also see this as a great opportunity for someone to come and buy the company. I think it's going to be a perfect company to partner with or be gobbled up by Meta or Apple and be a device that works in the metaverse. Now imagine you're on a stationary bike in the metaverse. It would be very different. Peloton, like Zoom, and basically all the other lock in your room products are all down. So basically Zoom is down, Peloton's down, and some of the other stocks are all down. I suspect they're going to stay down for a while, unless of course you decide to comply with government the next time. So the next time they do it, if you comply, it's going to be a mess as well. All right. I have to tell you, this is a struggle getting through this today. So I hope you guys appreciate it. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that share button, because I'm struggling to get through this today, and I'm doing it for you. All right, let's talk about rental assistance. As a landlord with several properties, I sometimes come across families or individuals who need to apply for rental assistance, and basically it comes from the local government. Sometimes it's temporary when someone loses a job, or sometimes it's permanent, like when someone is disabled or incapable of holding a job that pays enough to pay basic rent. Well, the government and social programs come in handy here, and for the most part, I gotta agree with helping the truly unfortunate who are in a situation that may not be in their complete control. So apparently, rental assistance programs have been completely tapped out. Several states have literally run out of money to help tenants stay in their homes. You want to know why? Here's the reason. Real simple. Well, government overreach, of course. Many tenants, some who actually needed it, only some who actually needed it, by the way, took advantage of their landlords and didn't pay rent for the last year and a half. While the landlords suffered, the clock kept ticking. Now the moratorium is over, and the landlords have started paying, the landlords have started playing landlord again. They're actually pursuing back rent, and the tenants who may have been able to tap a resource to pay the landlord are finding the government is shutting them out. No, unbelievable, right? So that means, once again, that the government has screwed the very people they claim they want to help. It always seems that way, right? By the way, here's something interesting. The programs in New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Texas, as well as Washington, D.C., are either closed or on hold, leaving many struggling renters cut off from their only hope of paying their debt and, of course, staying in their home. These mostly Democrat states will now need to figure out how to keep their voting base from crying foul. The more I see things like this, the more I realize the government officials care really nothing about the people. All they really want is their $200,000 plus salary to keep you in their control. It really bugs me. All right, by the way, say hello to Fatina. Thanks so much for watching. I totally appreciate you. All right, let's talk about computer chips. And then after I talk about this, we'll take another commercial. All right, but let's do this first. All right, as you've heard, computer chips are a problem this year. Basically, manpower and closed factories put the heart of all our modern-day products on hold for a while. This was a major factor in the increased cost of just about everything run by computer chips, including electronics and cars. Well, the chips are starting to flow again, and honestly, that's a good thing, right? The industry is set to grow next year by about 10%. Here are some companies that will benefit from the chips flowing again. So these are some places that you need to be in, right? AMD, NVIDIA, and of course, TSMC. I know, you never heard of TSMC, have you? But this is a company you should watch. They are a huge supplier for Apple, and alone, they will keep them in business for a long time. So just Apple will keep TSMC for a long time. They also have announced that they will be hiking their prices this year due to inflation, or just because supply and demand. It doesn't matter. TMC, by the way, stands for Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, and it's trading roughly at $645 a share. So this is kind of neat. So if you want to take a look at that, TSMC is roughly about $645 a share. I like the stock. I think it'll do well. I'm also not a fan. By the way, I like it, but I wouldn't buy it because I don't want to buy a Taiwanese stock because I got burned in the China stocks last year. All right, let's take a break real quick while I find something else to make my throat better.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Felder Mel Cohn and Larry Steinhouse about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend investor schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. Investorschooling.com.
Investor Schooling needs a new slogan.
Investor schooling? Never heard of.
Investor schooling?
Never heard of.
Investor schooling? Never heard of them.
Any suggestions? Phil?
Investor schooling. We never heard of you either.
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
Investor schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling?
Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
That second commercial gets funnier and dopier every time I watch it. All right, anyway, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. And so far, we've been discussing the futures update. Right now, the futures are, the Dow is down 80, the S&P is down 23, and the NASDAQ, yike, is down 150. So it's going to be a little rough. Hey, all right, so we talked about a couple of other things that were important today. We talked about the fact that the insurrection was, I don't know, I can't believe that Kamala Harris said that. It just bugs me so much that she could be such a hypocrite. Anyway, all right, so coming up today, we're going to be talking about today's picks and plays. But of course, did you guys hit that like button? Did you hit that share button yet? Come on, let everybody know that. I came to work today to do this show with this, whatever it is I have, because I'll never know if it's COVID because I won't get a test. Because you guys know the best way to never get COVID, right? Never get a test. All right. Let everyone know what great stock tips are coming up by sharing the information. You can share it on your page or in groups that you feel will benefit from these great stock plays. Of course, you can also leave comments on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn, so please do it. Hey, Ramanita, thanks so much. She's saying, I hope you take care of yourself. Well, clearly I'm not taking care of myself. And of course, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, excuse me, set one of your presets to this channel and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market. All right, let's talk about what's going to go on today. I don't know, is it going to be a good day? It's not starting out too good, down 63 and NASDAQ down 150. But I'm going to tell you that this week kicks off earnings season, and it starts Friday with one of the most important reports that we're going to see, which is Delta Airlines. I'm going to tell you right now, Delta Airlines is going to be the key to what we're going to go into this year with. So if Delta Airlines is good, now, first of all, just understand that the earnings report themselves may not mean anything, but the guidance will tell all. If it's a good report, the stock market will rally into earnings season. And it's definitely time for you to pick your stocks and plays. My experience is that when we head into earnings season, stocks always rise as they get closer to earnings, and I would expect Meta, by the way, Facebook, right, to rise several days from here into earnings. So it's a good time to pick up some Meta, especially if it's down today. This week, we're also going to have inflation data and consumer price index numbers. I'll definitely report on those as they come out this week, but I'm telling you, these are good numbers to watch. Other earnings on Fridays will include the financial heavyweights such as JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, and of course, Wells Fargo. And the other thing is the bond number will continue to be in focus. My prediction is with earnings season coming up, the bond rate will pull back a bit as investors will want to move their money back into tech for earnings plays. So watch for that as well. All right. So on the crypto scene, oh boy. So crypto is making all the hoodlers. You guys know what hoodlers are? Hold on for dear life, hoodlers. So it's making all the hoodlers cry right now. I'm in a couple of groups on Facebook, and it makes me laugh as they complain that their $50 is now worth $35. Well, hang in there, hoodlers. You're in for a bumpy ride. Look, now might be the time to buy, or it might be the end of a good run. It seems that whenever we get here, right around these numbers, it's one of those two choices. So it may be a good time to buy, it may be a good time to run, it may be a good time to sell, it may be a good time to get out. I don't know, but I got a couple of bucks in there, and I'll let you know how that plays out. You know, we're going to have to install a cough button in this studio. All right, anyway, next, let's talk about gold and silver. So gold and silver, they're not doing much, and actually that's probably a good thing. You know, gold is still hovering around 1,800, and silver is hovering at around 22, and there's nothing exciting going on there. So I've been saying this for years: buy gold, buy silver, put it in a drawer somewhere. You need it, it's going to go up eventually, but the most important thing is, if anything ever happens, like the zombie apocalypse, you'll be able to have something that you'll be able to trade for milk if your neighbor has a cow and you have silver. You'll understand that when it happens, and if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. The Treasury bond is hovering just under 1.78, and I told you to expect it to go down, but if it approaches 2, yikes, be careful, because it's starting to move back up. As a matter of fact, the bond right now is at 1.774, so it's a little rough, but it should be all right. I definitely think that the market's going to adapt. Hey, by the way, the publisher of my new book, Money Hacks, reached out to me and wanted to thank you for your pre-orders. Last week, I got to tell you, I said this might be a tax write-off, and I got a call from my accountant who was watching the show, and he pretty much verified that it might be. Hey, I just want to thank John Hepner for letting us know that it could absolutely be a tax write-off. And I laughed and I said, for a book selling for $20, I would expect that this tax write-off won't be much help anyway. But if you buy 50 books as presents for your client, John, then that's it. So order 50 books as presents for your clients, and John, order those books. And if you would like, if you'd like my accountant to give you that book for becoming a new client, reach out to John Hepner. He's a great accountant, and he'll definitely give you that book because he's going to order 50 as tax write-offs. What a great idea, right? Thanks, John. I totally appreciate it. And of course, if you're watching on any of the social media platforms, please leave a comment on your thoughts about the show. If you're taking any advice, please share the show with your friends and tell them all about it. I want to thank you for your continued support, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. And as you know, from time to time, I own some of the stocks and assets discussed on this show. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, my name is Larry Steinhouse. I'm the host of Money Chat Now, and I'm going to tell you guys to have a very profitable day.